I hope you like my prototypical streamliner pulling modern freight cars, but today I'm going to be giving an overview of this Paragon 4 Broadway Limited Commodore Vanderbilt. Of course, there's already plenty of great reviews on YouTube, but really just kind of going over my first impressions and just the build quality and the stuff that I've noticed so far, since I haven't had a whole lot of time with this locomotive yet. But this is my first Broadway Limited Imports locomotive I've ever owned. I must say, so far, I'm thoroughly impressed. This actually made me almost want to order another one. The boiler on this is die-cast, has a very heavy built feel to it. It looks like the side skirts here are plastic, but they feel like metal, or they're very rigid at least. And I've seen this noted in other reviews. The sheet metal, they've almost added the folds or the wrinkles in it that you would normally see in real life. So that's a really cool feature. Tender is also very heavily built. I believe it's die cast, or most of it is. Here's a quick shot of the front. I am by no means an expert, so I'm just gonna kind of go over all the details here and let you observe for yourself. Here's the back of the tender. So this locomotive also does come with cab figures, and it does have a detailed cab as well. On top here you have, sorry if the camera shake, I'm holding with one hand right now, but you have these movable hatches. A little stiff, but set these however you like. Now, of course, the layout I'm building is a modern era Norfolk Southern layout that kind of takes place in the southeast. That being said, the reason I picked this up is I consider myself just a general collector, and I don't discriminate. Occasionally, I'll just buy a model simply because I like it and want to add it to my collection, and this is no different. This one, of all the streamliners, I thought this design always looked really cool. Nothing against the Dreyfus Hudson or anything, but I personally like the spoked wheel look better. Now, the nice thing about Broadway Limited is they often make their models as prototypical as they can, but they also try to be accommodating. So you'll notice here, the side skirt doesn't necessarily come down all the way. They do come with the rest of it that you can just kind of pop on there, but you will have to run really large curves. So I haven't really tested that yet. Mine are 30-inch, so that might be okay. But this is the how it comes out of the box. Also, the same thing with the rear truck. There's a different rear truck you could put on. It's supposedly more correct, I believe. But I think this one's a little more forgiving on tighter radiuses. But so far, I haven't had any problems with it. I've never had it derail on me. It's really heavy. It's really finely made. Really good looking. In general, I've been a huge fan of steam locomotives. In terms of HO scale, I've actually tended to stick with diesel simply because I think the offerings are better, and I'm big on sound, and I like the for things to sound correct and more prototypical. And that's one thing that always deterred me about Broadway Limited is I feel like they checked most of the boxes except for sound. I was not a big fan of their Paragon sound decoders from what I've watched on YouTube. So maybe 5 years ago they were okay, but I feel like they just fall short compared to ESU, Wow Sound, and even Tsunami. But I must say, now that I own one of these in person and I've listened to it in person, the sound quality is definitely not that bad. I'd actually say it's pretty decent. A lot of their sound files could be better. I know I've watched other reviews of other locomotives, and they usually have just like a small handful of whistles they pretty much put on everything, and that was kind of a little off-putting to me. But again, it's not as good as Wow Sound is. By comparison, I have a little Bachmann 460 that has Wow Sound in it, and it sounds amazing. But it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. I have noticed some quirky things. I don't know if it's supposed to be doing this or not. At a certain speed, the sound will just cut off if I'm going at full speed. Also, the cab light will just randomly shut off sometimes if you go above a certain speed. So I don't know if that's a problem or it was meant to do that. So not a huge deal, but I usually don't run stuff wide open anyway. Smoke unit seems to be working fine. I've heard some good stuff about them. I've heard bad stuff about Broadway Limited, but I'm going to go over some stuff that also comes in the box. Like I said earlier, it does come with an extra rear truck. I made the assumption that maybe this one was somehow more prototypical or something was different about it, but by comparing it to what's already on there, I think it may just be an extra. I'm not quite sure. These are the extra pieces of the side skirt that you can add if you want either one just display the locomotive or if you have the curves to run it. And here's a little tiny screwdriver and I believe just some extra traction tires. You also get a little funnel for smoke fluid. I can definitely see myself buying more locomotives from Broadway Limited once they come out with their Stealth series. So, I don't really plan on getting any diesels from them, but definitely more steam locomotives. Even with the Paragon 4, I find myself to be at least content with it. I don't really see myself swapping this out for Wow Sound or anything. Plus, if I were to do that, I'd lose the synchronized puffing smoke and some of the other features the Paragon 4 offers. So I really like the synchronized puffing smoke, so I don't exactly care to do that. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm beyond happy with this purchase.